the issue of locked up commodities at Tema. These are commodities that the Global Fund has donated to Ghana, and for reasons which are very difficult to explain, these commodities have been locked up for more than a year. And so this morning, we have invited you because 6 civil society groups and our allies and partners have come together to take an action to draw the attention of government in this particular situation. We, the leadership of the Coalition of CSO networks in HIV, TB, and malaria, wish to bring to the attention of the media and the general public our intention to present a petition to the Presidency and Parliament on the continued lockup of Global Fund donated health commodities at Tema Port. The commodities in reference, valued at more than $40 million, have been wasting away at the port since May 2023. They comprise antiretrovirals for treatment of HIV, medications for treatment of TB, ACTs for treatment of malaria, insecticide-treated nets, rapid diagnostic test kits, and gene expert cartridges, among others. The situation has currently created stockouts in health facilities across the country, leading to needless loss of lives and frustration for health workers. The essence of our intended action, therefore, is to draw the attention of the Presidency and Parliament to the looming public health emergency if no immediate actions are taken on the matter. As a background, we would like to point out that the Global Fund has since 2002 supported Ghana's national response against HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria to the tune of more than $1.2 billion. These funds are made available to the country in cycles of 3 years. For example, for Grant Cycle 6, which was implemented between 2021 and 2023, Global Fund supported the country with more than $250 million. For Grant Cycle 7, which is to be implemented between 2024 and 2026, the Global Fund has earmarked about $248 million for the country. Between May and August 2023, Global Fund, as part of its commitment to GC7, shipped HIV and AIDS and TB and malaria commodities worth about $40 million into the country. In line with regular practice, Global Fund made available $400,000 being 1% of the value of the commodities to cover procurement and supply management costs. However, at the time the commodities arrived, government of Ghana informed Global Fund that the amount of $400,000 will not be sufficient for the clearance due to increase in port charges. This was coupled with the fact that Parliament had failed to grant waivers for AU, ECOWAS, and COVID-19 recovery levies. According to government, the required amount in taxes and levies and port charges for the clearance of the commodities will be $3.6 million. The Global Fund raised concerns about this amount and reminded government that as part of the framework agreement between the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance, and the Global Fund, they are not supposed to pay taxes and levies to commodities they donate freely to the country. They also pointed out their relations with other countries where they do not pay such levies and taxes. Regrettably, government insisted on the payment, and this is what led to the deadlock in the clearance process, which has persisted to date. As we speak, we are not sure of the storage conditions of the commodities. We are not sure whether these delicate commodities are being sheltered under the right temperatures or they are being exposed to the vagaries of the weather. Our greatest fears are that if no action is taken now, by the time the medications are cleared, some may have expired or may no longer be safe for human consumption. In March 2024, a 12-member delegation from the Tema Fund paid a working visit to the country to follow up on the locked-up commodities. In spite of all their efforts, they did not make any headway, and the commodities still remain uncleared at the ports. They have therefore indicated that Ghana risks losing all global fund support if government fails to act on the matter. To start with, they have already suspended all commodity shipments to the country until the ones at the ports are cleared. This development has dire consequences for the hundreds of thousands of our compatriots whose daily survival depends on free medications donated by Global Fund. For example, there are presently more than 250,000 persons living with HIV whose ARVs are paid for by the Global Fund. Secondly, this development is also bad news for the country's health sector because the Global Fund has recently announced its commitment to providing additional $100 million for health systems strengthening.
Now, one important thing is that Global Fund has certain principles that they work with. One of them is country ownership, which is very important because Global Fund might one day transit. What will happen if Global Fund decide, maybe in the next 3 years, to transit? Because we have challenges with resources now. And it is also important that communities and civil societies are the center of whatever we are doing in this country. Because their voices matter, because they are on the ground, they know what is happening, and they are affected and infected by the disease, apart from the general population. If you look at malaria, Africa has the highest burden of malaria. If you look at TB, Africa has the highest burden of TB. If you look at HIV, Africa has the highest burden of all these diseases. Now, countries help us to own our own health. Why should we leave these resources? More importantly, the commodities at the port. There has been a lot of effort. I'm on their platform, and I've been seeing this communication for the past 1 year. Several assurances, and it's so disheartening to see that Ghana, our government, has not been able to clear this up till now. And it is really mind-boggling. Now, it is important that the government knows that the citizens need these services. We cannot just compromise the lives of people, especially the vulnerable population in this country, to die because of somebody's irresponsibility. And I think this has to continue. Global Fund, I'm actually not talking for Global Fund, I'm talking as a Ghanaian. Global Fund is really there to support all of us. But one important thing is that we must show political will. We all know that health is political will. If the government decides to support this, they can use half a minute to clear it. The question is, what is the problem? Civil society and communities want to know. Now, one important thing that I want to talk about is that a lot of countries are granting immunity to the Global Fund. The immunity means that when they bring you commodities, you must allow free clearance. What is the blockage? That is the question. Why is the highest office of this country, the presidency, promising us that, oh, it will be cleared? and then only to know that the things are still there. I think these are questions that we have to ask to protect the image of the sovereign country that we are all part of, and also to make sure that Global Fund resources are protected and secure. The CCM is supposed to oversee Global Fund resources and everything that comes to this country. And I'm happy that this is being organized with the CCM leading, with civil society and communities being part of it. I mean, we cannot do anything. We cannot strengthen health systems. We cannot strengthen community systems without the voices of communities, without the voices of civil society. I want to add that Global Fund new strategy is putting people and communities at the center of the strategy. Look at the resources that they've given to us as a country. Should we leave the resources? And commodity is part of the resources. So should we leave it? So my worry as a person on the board and a community member and a civil society member is that we are not serious as a country if this continues. We need to stand up. And the voices might stand up.
Hey!
Hey! We cannot wait for life to be lost because of people's irresponsibility and people's personal interests. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. We are ending TB in 2030. Now, if you are ending TB 2030, I say to me, born more than able to meet conditions, which you have why, and you to meet some conditions. Say no. And yeah, if you are, I definitely fear they share TB and more room. The being gene experts, the being so digital entry, in any book at the power. And you may have a so cartridges to do at the account. The best time will say, and some able to meet a chat TV so by 2030. I say now your boy home day. Yen stock partnership for you. That's Adrian say, or mine on quite me Nina. And unti World TB Day. Last 2 weeks, the Bodero be say, the Presidency TB CSO TB Endowment Fund. Now, that endowment fund will to me add into Boa Ghana for and I say. Now, it be a Boa Ghana Health Services and a National TB Control Program. Near Percy says, can buy a target near $1 million US. Says, can buy and being a better gene experts. They bring a better digital X-ray machines. They have been swapped cartridges now. They be here and they share. As far as spoon to me, say, yeah, ahura. Now, at the bottom, a bit with the share say, and pop, say, where will be, and that's a really no, the only being, yeah, near to do. So, don't see a day, you're free of charge. It's a neck, who quite no being ya, really be, not if you are Mr. Momadi Panu say, Uncle Health Service. Uncle the nearest clinic. Now, Uncle Shina Pomu, a honor, Obinia, Apudia, free of charge, Madame Swiss.
As on my the TV situation currently, no, and you're good. Every day, the trade paper 39 as a result of TV 39. And the 14 days the crown, you calculate here about 546 Ghanaians in the very short amount by then 14 days, you know. A bit by a million, bit where we're down for a bit by your dear intending of mine, yet Nasi, near to me, said, in Dra, I was said, it's me called, and my fat, and my young twin, yet to me, and yet, and the packet 9 in the BBR. I was saying to me, a year no, they bought 45,000. I was saying to me, a woman some what TV, one be, they already be. I was saying the other, they come to a grocery amount to be fat, among them. I just speak now for the past 15 years now. 45,000 and yen TV draw. The son said, commodities CB, shortages of cartridges. I was a facility for diagnosis no. And think anyone. Last year, you had shortages of cartridges. And the TB notification of echoes for 19,000 cases out of the 45,000. To see on cartridges no afford. And to see a percentage, they took TB acid by 2035 or 2030 now. Now say a buying action because 546 they go within 14 days, you know, and you need less the wound here. And you work a wound here. I will say, yes, you're my Ghanaians. It means a wound because of that. And that's it.
It's a joy to have you all here. You've been supporting us over the years when we just cry out for our commodities and medications to be cleared from the port. My colleagues have already said how painful it is for us to see or to think that the leadership of our country does not care about us. That people from outside would buy the needed medication, the needed equipment, commodities to help Ghanaians. And the things have arrived at the port and are seated there. And the fact that we are supposed to be implementing something called differentiated service delivery, which is giving health care according to the needs of those who want